Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today we're going to get into the salt mines. We've got some comments and some feedback that is particularly critical, maybe even personal, and that's okay. I'm a big boy. But we're going to have a conversation today about SPS and let's say my rose-colored glasses. Okay, so if that sounds interesting, stick around and stay tuned, and I hope you have an amazing day. If not, let's get into it. Okay. So recently I did this video here. I said, I think I answered 2 critical comments from the comment section, and I do that regularly. So if you want to, share either a question or a critique, I'm happy to read them and maybe turn it into a video. So go ahead and drop that on this video. I saw here, I did a video talking about 2 comments. One was from FBILX, who we'll be hearing from in a moment. And he talked about, honestly, I forget now, but I think he talked about the project's dead and SPS is dying. And then we had another person being critical or maybe concerned, let's say, about not being able to sell card prices or cards into the future because the audience just isn't there to buy it. And so I answered those 2 comments, and I think based on, logical considerations, and here's what we get. I got 3 comments for you, and they're all critical of me, and I'll do my best not to justify where I'm coming from, but to hopefully in a deeper way unpack some of my thoughts around confidence within the game. So if you're wondering where we're going with this, it's going to be around hearing people being critical of me and my confidence, and then me attempting to justify or explain, not to convince, but to explain where I'm coming from. And before I go there, I'll say also, everything about this channel and everything about what I share with you on this channel is about what is my journey. It's how I'm sharing my story within Splinterlands, but my broader story within crypto and within blockchain-based video gaming. Not because I care, if you sign up or not. I don't know you, but I'm happy and excited to talk about this thing that I find passion and joy in. And so that's why I always say Splinterlands to me is fun and it has a future. It has a future it's this hypothesis that I'm putting forward. And I'm saying, I think we're going to be here in 5-10 years. I believe, and I could imagine a way and a path forward where we would have great success, the game. And then fun, it's fun. I find it entertaining. I find joy in it. Years into it, I'm still playing. I'm still grinding. I'm still enjoying it. And I do so almost every day. And so for those reasons, I have a strong confidence. I don't think that's faith. That's objective fact based on my experience of what I'm seeing. Those are my opinions. Those are my strong, maybe positions. It's not speculation that it's fun. It's my opinion. It's a subjective fact that's real for me. And then secondly, that it has a future, I feel is a posture that I come to believe in based on faith, you might say, in Matt and the team. And you might think that's totally unfounded. We would have to have a separate conversation around that. But I think there's lots of reasons to trust in guys like Matt. And so that's not faith in the way that most people mean the word. Faith in the way that most people mean the word. And I say this as a Christian man who people deride and mock the word faith as if they themselves are not faithful people. Every man, woman, and child has faith in their hearts and minds. Even like faith, you just sit on a chair and you assume it's not going to collapse below you. You get in your car and you assume it's not going to explode. You go to bed at night and you assume the sun will rise. These are places of confidence that cannot be proven or justified before you take that step. So you sit down with your full weight onto that chair that you're about to sit down on, and you assume it's going to be there when you come to rest. You don't test it first. You don't get out your, engineering kit and see how much LBs, how much force can it resist against, and weigh yourself to, none of that. You just assume it's going to work, and that is faith. So we live life with this, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about thoughtful and analytical, critical analysis of a Splinterlands company, Steam Monsters, and analyzing both their public face as well as the conversations I'm able to have as a member within this community with them privately or personally. And we get to see this sense of where we're at and where we're going. That's not faith as most people mean it. That's a place of confidence that comes from thoughtful analysis. Now, we might both look at the same pieces of information, such as who is Matt and what does he say about the game and what are his decisions and what has happened since he's been a leader. And you might hear all of that or consider all of that and end up saying, see, that's why we're going to fail, because you don't like what he's done. You don't like who he is. You don't like what he says. And a second person, myself, maybe might hear all these things and say, you know what, generally speaking, I think he's a smart guy. I think he's a genius. I feel better with him at the helm than I do with even Aggie. And I didn't have a big problem with Aggie. I liked him. But Aggie was more of a salesman and Matt's more of a long-term, prudent planner. And I think that's a good thing. So is everyone listening, do you feel, this is important, am I being thoughtful and critical as I look at stuff like that? Or am I just making some faith claim about Splinterlands has existed in the past and so it will always exist into the future? I never say that. I don't think that. That's not how I approach it. It's a critical analysis of the team, the vision, and my expectations on their ability to execute that vision. So let's see what the critics have to say about it though. Blue Goblin. Dwayne, how much are they paying you to keep this front? I don't want to go with something low like mental condition if you're not on their payroll. I like your videos, but your rose-colored glasses need a new prescription. So we're definitely going to use that in the context of the title. So something about rose-colored glasses. I mean, Blue Goblin, thanks for the comment. You know, I honestly wish, again, not to try and convince anybody, but I would love to have an opportunity to speak with somebody like yourself, as long as it could be an amicable conversation, not just like throwing, you know, unpleasant words at one another. Because it seems as though you're saying that you have respect for me, I assume, like I like you in your videos. Thank you. But then it seems like you feel, I don't know if you're exaggerating, it could just be hyperbole, but you're either telling me that I sound like I have a mental condition, or that I've been bribed and that these are insincere thoughts about the game and the team. I don't get paid anything by Splinterlands, if that needs to be said, except for, I guess, you know, the SPS I earned through playing, the card appreciation I've earned over the years. Cool opportunities like being able to share with you one of the Soulbound reward cards is not a financial compensation, but they did give me that opportunity along with a lot of other content creators, which in itself drives one of my videos, maybe two of my videos, enabling some like maybe 10 or 20 bucks worth of income for me. But no, there's no sort of financial sort of kickback for me to sort of speak up or talk about SPS in a positive light. If I didn't believe in SPS, I wouldn't hold 250,000 of them. And, you know, I don't know where I am in the list of things, but I'm definitely, like, I'm top 1,000, aren't I? Let's have a look. So SPS, where am I at? I must be on here, right? I think it gives you your name. My rank, 602. I'm 602 richest of total SPS. And I can see that the top 200 have 700,000 or more. So I don't know where... If I'm 600 and I've got 250,000 SPS, you know, there's probably everything in between, you know, 201 and 600 that, you know, maybe they've got 300,000 or something like that. But that's you know, I'm not a small fish in terms of my investment in SPS. It's thousands of dollars, and that matters to me. And so I don't know. I mean, I hope that points to something. Again, it doesn't matter to me if you follow my footsteps. None of this is designed to be like, look, you know, I'm a bigwig and I know what I'm doing, and you should get on following my footsteps. This is about my story and about what I've done and where I'm going. So I believe in SPS, and it's not out of a place of, you know, the team offering me something. You know, maybe there are some rose-colored glasses, but I don't really believe that. I think I'm being thoughtful about this process. I don't think I do my best to be critical at every place and every point, so that I can still answer myself the question, do I still believe this is fun and has a future? So thanks for the comment. Chests Guys SL. Chest Guys? I used to be like you. I had blind faith on the game. Until recently, I thought the low prices didn't matter and can go up in a crazy alt season. But now they are debating about a high proposal to save the game. That got me thinking that maybe 20K can go down the drain. This is I'm just going to call you Chess Guy. Chess Guy, what I see in this comment is a real sincerity. And so thank you. I'm seeing like a person who is being real. Like you're just saying you had a significant amount of money in this game and you thought to yourself, based on the current market conditions and the things you're hearing around, you know, the Hive proposal and the looking for HBD from the Hive community and the development fund, I think it's called DHF, Development Hive Fund or whatever it is, and how that's not going well, or it's, you know, up and down. And so you're doing your best to do what I'm doing, which is thoughtfully creating a conversation and that leads to an opinion and action. You say blind faith. I don't think what I'm describing to you is blind faith. It's okay if you use those words. I'm a big boy. But what I see ultimately, I don't take any offense to that, because what I'm reading is a thoughtful person who's attempting to do what I'm doing, and you're just getting a different answer. And that's okay, because it's not just there's a right answer and there's a wrong answer with respect to investment, is it? Right? Because with investment, $20,000 might be a crazy life-changing amount of money for one person, and it might mean nothing to another. That's like point number one. And so I don't know where you are on that scale, but if 20,000 is life-changing wealth, then that changes the calculus and probably the final answer. But then also, you talk about the high proposal as if it's going to, quote, save the game, and that's not proper language. And I need to push on that, because that's not proper language. Because the high proposal is not intended to save the game. We know that from conversations from Matt that there's about a year worth of runway, and that's assuming there's no income whatsoever. Additionally, we know that there's going to be income that's going to come from the promo cards that the DAO is paying for with DEC in order to, I think is it $6 million? I forget how much. I think it might be $6 million that the DAO is giving. No, it can't be that much. $600,000 that the DAO is giving to the Sea Monsters company out of the DAO. And so that's an income source right there. And then there's going to be pack sales, and there's going to be soulbound rewards that are going to be opened, and DC that's going to be burnt to unlock soulbound cards that are going to unlock soon. And that will mean that DC price should buoy, which should ultimately help SPS out, I think. Now, so I don't think it's accurate to say that the high proposal is intended to, quote, save the game. We could probably argue about whether the next few months are going to be positive or not. And you might have an opinion and I might have a different opinion. But there's a real honesty about what you're saying. And I can appreciate you saying you thought your 20K could go down the drain. And if anybody feels that way, then, you know, it makes perfect sense to walk away. And so, one, I don't think what I'm describing is blind faith. Two, I don't think that the high proposal is intended to, quote, save the game. Three, I fully agree. If somebody believes that there's cause for concern with respect to Splinterlands, one of the beauties of this thing is that we can liquidate. Not that we're here, we're locked in, we're stuck. And so, I hope that's satisfying to you to hear, Chess Guy. I appreciate the comment. Thank you very much. And finally, FBI Alex. So Alex is the one I responded to create the first video. And I guess Alex took offense to how I framed my response. And so just out of the gate, Alex, I'm sorry that I don't want to assume you were upset, because you seem to be upset that I assumed in the last video. But I'll say to you, I'm not trying to be difficult, rude, dismissive. I might have deeply different opinions than you do, but that's not out of a place of animosity. So I think there's a bit of a personal approach to your response, though, and I'm going to do my best to stay away from that. So Alex says, Dwayne, you have no idea what you're talking about. I made my money from this game back in the bull run, but with that said, I still have about what you have in the game, all profit. I called half a penny SPS before they did the wild pass. I called the drop from May to July, and I'm calling a continued drop until September. It's called math, my guy. I sold SPS from 1 penny to half a penny, so I can buy under half a penny. You wouldn't understand that because all you can do is buy and hold, which is fine, but know that the fluctuations in my brokerage account raise and fall more than what you make in a year daily. So maybe you should listen to what I'm saying and stop assuming. I mean, I think I'll approach this from just a couple different places, because I don't need to get into like, I'm not trying to have an argument with somebody. I'm trying to have a conversation. And when you talk about your observations, you make them seem both keen and inerrant. Like you've made some sort of real powerful analysis, that there's a presumption of that. And then secondly, that your calculations can't be flawed because it's called math. And so again, as people speak about faith in the way that I alluded to earlier, they speak about math sometimes in the way that, there's only one way to look at it. Now, 1 + 1 = 2, no matter who's counting. But when you look at math and you tweak the numbers as you see fit, because we all know in complicated equations, there's rounding errors, and there's issues of you forgot to calculate this piece, or there's a variable you didn't include in your calculation. And so complicated math problems have complicated solutions, and you can get your sums wrong just like anybody else. And so I point not just generally to that idea, but specifically to the idea that you seem to be celebrating. You called SPS was going to go down to half a penny before the wild pass, which isn't that long ago, first of all. And you talk about you made your money back in the bull run. And so you must have been carrying and holding SPS when SPS was 30, 40 cents. And so at some point, you started being a seller. You don't make it sound like that was at 30, 40 cents. And so it seems to be like a lot of, tooting your own horn, man, to be honest. And yet, I think if we kind of look at the receipts, for you to be claiming that you really nailed it, first of all, it sounds like you called half a penny, like what, 6 months ago? What were we at, 4 cents? That's not that big a deal. I was talking about 1 penny when we were at $1. And then the idea that, you were calling it a few months ago means you were calling it when we were already significantly low, which means you were holding, I presume, until that time. Otherwise, you wouldn't be, you would be talking about how you sold at 40 cents to buy back at half a penny. That would be pretty interesting. That would be pretty powerful. But if you're selling at 4 cents to buy back at half a penny, good for you. In fact, you say down here, I sold SPS from 1 penny to half a penny. Dude, that cool. Good for you. Seriously, no sarcasm at all. Good for you, seriously. But man, that's not you didn't call this years ago. You didn't call this months ago. You're late to the game in terms of that profitability. And yet you speak as if, right? You see what I'm saying? You're talking as if at 50 cents, you were the one voice in the amidst the crowd of bulls who were all talking about SPS is going to be great. And you were quietly liquidating because you knew we'd get here. That would be a powerful observation. That'd be one that I'd be like, well, okay, look, yeah, you win. But in this context, you're talking about selling at a penny to buy it back at a half a penny, which is a great victory. It's a doubling of your SPS. But if you're also talking about we're going to go lower between now and September, maybe, and maybe not. Let's tune back in a month and see what happens. Yesterday and today, we've seen the crypto market looking pretty juicy. XRP is up 20% today. Bitcoin's up 8% today. I don't know. Maybe this is just a bounce and we're going to roll back over. I don't know. You seem to be presenting as if you know. I don't. And I'm real clear about that. as I was with SPS. I didn't know it was going to stop at a penny. I didn't think it was going to, I didn't know where it would stop. I felt confident we were going to go much lower, even while we were still at $1. And I guess all I want to say is, in that context, you know, it's great if you think that it's going to go lower. But I think your original comment was that SPS is dead. And this token won't die if the game doesn't die. And you might believe that the game is going to die. For all the reasons I laid out, which are not faith, but are a thoughtful analysis of the game and its current iteration and its future prospects, I just firmly disagree. And that's okay. And I don't need to, you know, make fun of you, you know, prove you wrong, or, you know, even have you convinced. That's okay. If you want to be a seller, like I alluded to with Chess Guy, you know, investment is not zero, you know, a zero, like a 0-1 game. It's not like all or nothing. It's, you might move from SPS into, I don't know, token Z, and then find that you crush it and get crazy gains. And the same is true in the stock market, and the same is true as whether, you know, gold, silver, whatever you, housing investments, etc. No matter what you're doing, if you sell an asset for a loss in order to move into a different asset for a really quick or powerful gain, man, good for you. Good on you. So this is, you know, I don't know if you felt, it seems as though you felt like personally attacked. Alex, man, good for you, man. Like I'm happy for you. But, you know, if your point is that you expect SPS to go down in the next 4 weeks and you want to call the bottom, to me, that's what we call like catching a falling knife. And I'm not the short-term trader. You're talking short-term trades and I'm talking long-term gains. And you even admit the powerful sort of nature of buy and hold. Like you try to make fun of me for it, but you also imply it's fine. Like you make it seem like, you know, that's a proven strategy. A lot of people do that. If you can make a killing doing the short-term thing, good for you, brother. For real. But just, that's not most people's story. And catching a falling knife can cut you. If you think you're going to get down to a quarter of a penny, and then we don't, and we pop back up to a penny, are you going to rush in and then are we going to go down to half a penny? Because that's, you know, that wouldn't be entirely unreasonable with such a small market cap. And then you start getting into a conversation where you can get washing machined, buying high, selling low, buying high, selling low, and people can lose their shirts in that. Now, maybe you're smarter than that. You've got a TA guy you talk about in a different comment. But a lot of people don't have that sort of expertise or that sort of skill set. And so many people, probably even most people, are going to have more confidence and comfort in taking a buy and hold approach. And from that perspective, my confidence in the long-term perspective of what this is and what it might be could be valuable to them. That's all I'm saying. I hope this was helpful to somebody. Thanks, guys, for having an amazing day. Thank you both, all three of you, for the comments. Particularly Chess Guy, which seemed to me to be like a vulnerable, like a real, like, I was nervous and I had a lot of money and I wanted to liquidate because I felt like I wasn't sure about the future. I get it. And I, you know, I've been in that place in different contexts before in the past. And so good for you guys, all of you. And thanks for the comments. Have an amazing day. God bless.